to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers. Ooh yeah, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And first and foremost, I want to say thank you to all the new listeners, the people who have found us on YouTube. The YouTube channel has been going freaking fantastic. I've only uploaded like the first 40 some odd episodes, but we've been getting tons of feedback, tons of response. Thank you, everybody. We've been getting activity on our Facebook page, and we apologize for being 2 weeks late. I mean, life happens, and of course, we can't put out the podcast as frequently as we like to. But here we are. We're doing episode 199, Paul. 199.
It's all Chris's fault.
It's not my fault.
What?
Look, if it was up to me, I'd fucking do the podcast every fucking day, bro.
Yes, I know you would.
Because
you'd be stroking your dick. Oh yeah, podcast every day. Oh yeah.
I have no fucking life, and I would so because I like Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith does 3 or 4 podcasts a week. He has his Babylon, Fat Man on Batman, Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, Asian.
And Silent Bob Get Old. Yeah, that would be good. That would be a good title for a goddamn movie. Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Okay.
Yeah, when he runs out of ideas. Now it was funny. I just wanted to talk about where he was a couple of years ago. Because the movies are owned by New Line and Dimension or whatever the case may be, and Kevin Smith was approached by the guy. I forgot the name. The brothers that pretty much. The guys that own Dimension, and they had said, he had said, he goes, the guy who owns these movies told Kevin Smith, he goes, do you remember those movies back in the fucking in black and white days where they had Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, and Abbott and Costello meet, the werewolf, and Abbott and Costello meet Dracula. He goes, I have the rights to Hellraiser. So what would you think about Jay and Silent Bob meet Hellraiser? And of course, Kevin Smith goes, it sounds interesting. He goes, but I don't really think I want to put myself, he goes, I don't, that's not really a project I see myself pursuing. But, right now he's doing 2 movies right now. He's going to be filming Mallrats 2. He pretty much has finished filming, this movie called Yoga Hosers. And then he's doing this movie called Moose Jaws, which is basically it's the movie Jaws if Jaws was a moose up in Canada. So while he was writing the movie, and it's obviously it's supposed to be like a comedy horror movie, and originally he didn't write it with Jay and Silent Bob, but then he said, "Fuck it, I'm going to put Jay and Silent Bob in it." So he is kind of making a movie that's like a horror movie, comedy horror movie with Jay and Silent Bob. So I'm looking forward to that. But how awesome would it have been to see fucking Hellraiser with Jay and Silent Bob?
Oh Lord, the things that people come up with.
So
now? See, what I would love to see. Speaking of Hellraiser, what I would love to see them reboot, and I thought it was great. It was a great movie in the fact that it was horror, but it was also it kept you somewhat interested. Was Puppet Master.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that movie, dude. I'm sitting here waiting. You've rebooted every fucking other movie. Where the hell is Puppet Master?
It's
people are gonna be listening to this podcast, what the fuck is Puppet?
Oh man, well, Puppet. I mean, because I remember Puppet Master. I mean, back in the day, growing up and like having like Cinemax, because Cinemax, Cinemax at night used to have like like adult, like what they used to call Skinemax, where it was like these softcore porn movies, but they also had fucking like all these really cheesy horror movies. So I remember like putting on Cinemax at fucking like midnight or whatever and seeing, what was it, Puppet Master, and then there's a whole bunch of sequels. There's like Puppet Master versus like Demon Toys, because I think there was a whole other series called Demon Toys.
I don't
So
know.
it's like Puppet Master meets the Demon Toys, and then there was in one movie they actually turned good, because I guess it depends on who their master is. So one episode, so one movie they're good, one movie they're not. But because it was the guy with the drill, right? He had a drill for a head. There was the guy that had he had like a blade for one hand and a hook for another, and I think his eyes had spikes in it, or he could shoot spikes out of his eyes or something like that. There was the girl that vomited leeches. I think there was a baby. I think there was like a baby one, or one that's, I don't know, or like it looked like a baby but the face looked like a fucking man. It was real creepy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, because the good thing about that is that they can keep the toys, because the toys are like the same thing with Chucky. I mean, like they could keep Chucky the way Chucky looks, just keep the toys the way the toys look, and just reboot it. Start anew or whatever. But,
Oh, I'm sure they would. I'm sure, like, it's very easy, but just nobody's ever done it. And there again, I actually, now that I think about it, it could be one of those situations where they have whoever the asshole is that holds the rights to it is just like, no, fuck you, we're not doing that.
yeah, and then when they finally do it, it'll be like a straight to fucking Redbox.
Well, there apparently, like, The Last Starfighter, which is something that Seth Rogen was trying to get his hands on. Apparently, the guy that owns that actually said, and I could be wrong, so please, people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said something about, like, the guy that owns it's actually going to do a reboot of it. So, or it's going to be like a TV show or something. I don't know. I'm kind of confused myself, but I'm looking forward to.
I mean, yeah, oh my god, imagine if they did fucking Puppet Master as a show, like a fucking Netflix show. Like a creepy, like, you tell the story over like fucking like 13 episodes, an hour long. And you could go on like to the history, because I think like they go back to like when one movie was like a prequel, or like it goes back to like the Nazi days,
Right.
and stuff like that. How the hell this the show veered off into the nerdy news. That's the second half of this.
It's all your fault. I told you. It's always your fucking fault. And, people ask me, well, Chris is such an asshole. Why does he do that? No,
Well, okay, and somewhat serious news, and I'm really starting to get fucking worried. Like I said, we do have a lot of new listeners, but also with the new listeners, we've been getting a lot of downloads of the older episodes, and people have been like, I guess they've been going. It's funny, like you see, like obviously the more current episodes have the more downloads, and people are kind of going back. Go back the fucking last 20 episodes. One of our biggest contributors. I mean, we've had episodes kind of based on his fucking on his emails. The pistol packing Urkel episode comes to mind. Basically, one of our biggest and most active fans, Oscar, which I did a little homework, and I've kind of figured out that he's from Chile, the country, and Chile had a.
I'm sorry. Did you say it was chilly out there? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to be serious here for a second. No, because Chile had an earthquake about 2 weeks ago, right around the last episode that came out. And
Right.
and at first, of course, we went 2 weeks, and usually, Oscar is the first email we get where it's like, what the fuck, what's going on, guys? Why haven't you put out an episode? And I'm surprised, like after the first week went by, I was like, I didn't hear from Oscar, and I gave it like 2 or 3 more days, and then I sent him an email, and even as we record this today, like we are like about 2 weeks since our last episode, he hasn't answered back, so I'm starting to like. And of course, it's all, fun and games, we rib each other and stuff like that. And he's goofed on my beard, and he called, Darrell a pistol packing Urkel, and we've goofed around, but I am very, very seriously like concerned. I mean, I think he's on my Facebook, but he's never like active on Facebook. He's always, every time we really interact with him, it's on through the emails, and he hasn't written the email. And I wrote him saying like, dude, when you get a chance, contact us. So if Oscar, for whatever reason, you haven't checked your email and you are fucking out there and you are alive, for the love of God, let us know what's going on. And also,
He's probably gonna be like, "What? I go away for like 2 seconds and then you whatever."
and also, I mean, if you, Oscar, if you are safe or whatever, let us know what the hell was going on. Like, what was the earthquake about? Like, hopefully you're okay. And if you are okay, let us know what's going on. So I mean, it's funny, like a guy who who's sent so much venom in our direction or whatever. But like I said, you kind of grow a rapport with somebody, and I actually kind of like, I feel like
so basically, Oscar, Chris wants to have sex with you. He misses your big cock, and you need to come back and email us, because if you don't, he may get lonely.
In all seriousness, Oscar, if you're listening or whatever, maybe you just don't get your email or whatever, just write the show. Let me know what's going on. Let me know you're okay. Okay. For those who follow us on Facebook, the last episode was called The Noisy Cricket, because I had a cricket in my fucking house. I caught that fucker 4 nights of fucking not sleeping. Or not sleeping, but having a cricket in my relatively small apartment was very, very annoying. I caught that motherfucker. I put him in a Tupperware, and I was like, I can't hurt him. So I just took him outside and I threw him out in the grass. So
that'll give you some good karma.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I mean, it's not his fault. He came into the apartment, and so for those following the past podcasts, I caught the noisy cricket and got him out of here. And there's actually a picture of him on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Two Strangers One Podcast. And also, for people to write to us, like Oscar, you can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for all the new listeners, and like our Facebook page, share the videos, share the podcast links. It's any help would be greatly appreciated. Get the word out. Okay. In other huge news in my life, this is I've been fighting for custody of my daughter for the past 4 years. I lost custody of my daughter a couple of months after she was born, and it primarily had to do with my daughter's mother being a drug addict, and I had caught a neglect charge with my daughter. I caught a neglect charge. Now get this: the mom was out getting high. I mean, let's be real here, I'm putting my dirty laundry out there. The mom was out getting high, and as the mom,
I knew I smelled something wrong.
As the mom would. I mean, she had a very serious substance abuse problem, and when she was ready to come home, she'd give me a call, and I'd go pick her up and take her home. And at that time, I was in a different state of mind. I didn't realize how serious the situation was and everything like that, or I was kind of like stupid, making horrible decisions because I thought I was in love, and I had.
Yeah, had I been around, I probably would have slapped you upside your head.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. Right now. Either that or Darrell would make a visit. And you don't want Uncle Darrell to make a visit.
So I had picked up the mom basically from a drug house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I picked up the mom, and the cops saw her coming out of the drug house and saw me picking her up. So, of course, they pulled us over. And since I had my daughter in the car, they had given me child endangerment charge. Now, mind you, yes, okay, I picked up the mom, and mind you, they searched the car, they searched me, they fucking had the dog sniff the car, like, the police car that pulled us over was the fucking drug dog, the officer with the fucking canine dog, the canine officer. I didn't have any drugs on me. The mother didn't have any drugs on me. Okay, so
so she didn't put drugs on you. I see. Okay.
So I'm saying, like, okay, fine. I stopped in front of the house. Now, mind you, it wasn't like in front of the house. It was like if you were stopping at a red light, and of course, yes, it's a bad neighborhood, and so and mind you, the fucking cop hit me with a child endangerment charge that I didn't even know about. I found out fucking like days and days and days later. He let me go. We went home that night, and I found out like 2 weeks later that I had a fucking endangerment of a welfare of a child charge, only because I was stupid and I thought I was in love, and I was, So with all that, we went to court, this and this and that. I lost custody of my daughter, and unfortunately, my daughter went into fucking foster care, and that ended really relatively quick because my daughter's grandfather is part of the Seneca Nation up here. Up here there's a big Native American population, and he had said, I'd like to have custody of my granddaughter. And let me tell you, the judge, it's so the nation has such sway, political sway, up here in upstate New York, that, when he asked to have custody of the granddaughter, my granddaughter was home that afternoon. My daughter was home that afternoon, when usually it would have taken like a couple of days for her to get home. No, she was home that afternoon because it's a very, very sensitive subject when it comes to Native Americans. Because for fucking, because he himself was a child in foster care, and back in those days it was the fucking nightmare stories of they didn't even dare put you with a Native American family. You stood with white families or whatever, and kids got abused and all this craziness. Luckily, I'm still friends with the people that were my daughter's foster parents, and they are fantastic, wonderful, very religious people, but like the good kind of religious, where they're not fucking hypocrites. They actually live by the same shit that the same stuff that they say they live by. They don't fucking walk around holier than thou and judge people and be like pieces of shit. So my daughter, he got custody of my daughter, and technically him and I lived under the same roof. So even though I didn't have custody of my daughter, I was still living with my daughter. And that went on for about another 2 years or so. And then the mother went back to being, she never stopped being on drugs, and she had brought home a guy, basically the guy that's like fucking supporting her habit, over to the house. And the first time I said, look, don't fucking come to this house anymore. And, a couple days later, I'm running errands with my daughter. I come home, and this fucking asshole's car is parked in front of my house. I go upstairs, I put my daughter in her crib, and I fucking beat the shit out of this guy. Needless to say, I get arrested, this and this and that. And then the grandfather, because technically we were both sharing the same apartment, but since the grandfather, the grandfather let the guy in, that guy technically wasn't trespassing. Even though the grandfather's a fucking idiot, why are you letting this guy in? It's obviously supporting your daughter's fucking drug habit. I never gave her money for drugs. Of course, I picked her up when she was fucking done. And once again, that's a whole other story. And so since I fought the guy, and since my daughter was there, they hit me once again with another endangerment of the welfare of a child. Now, mind you, my daughter was like in the other room in her crib. But they said, since I'm fighting this guy with my daughter there, that there's a fucking... So the grandfather asked me to leave. So I was actually kicked out of the house with my daughter. So, and I was trying to find a place to stay, and then they let me have visitation, and I had visitation for, 3 days a week and all this other bullshit. And then just about this time last year, they allowed me to have overnight visits with my daughter, where, my daughter would stay with me overnight, and it would be like 2 days out of the week. And so, for the past 2 years, I've been fighting for custody, that I haven't lived under the same roof with my daughter, and I haven't had custody of my daughter for almost 5 years of her life. So we go to court, and finally and now mind you, and it just shows you, like, once again, that how favorable they are towards Native Americans, is the judge was going to give the mother full custody. The mother, the mother's had a history of drug problems, in and out of jail, in and out of rehab, saying all my issues legally were always involved the mother, saying, but I never got in trouble with the cops outside of, being around the mom and shit like that. I mean, so the judge was ready to give her, and of course, I mean, I'm bringing up dirty laundry, and I'm trying to get past it or whatever, you got to let me work through this shit. But but
no, you need to work through this shit now.
But we got we had it, but luckily, I mean, right now the mom and I, and the mom who's been clean for quite a while, the mom and I are on the same page, and now she sees where I'm coming from. I mean, obviously all this time I wasn't talking shit. I was saying, no, get clean, get a fucking job, handle your fucking business, which she's been doing. And so her and I have come to the arrangement where we're going to have shared custody. And so, so we go to court. And like I said, originally the judge was just going to straight up give the mom custody. And I was like, what the fuck, And then luckily even like her lawyer spoke up and said, no, they said share custody or whatever. So the judge, of course, I mean, I don't want to jinx it by talking about it too soon, but I mean, it was already on court. It's already on, it was already discussed in court. It's on paper. I'm just waiting for the actual paper to come, to come in the mail, the official, court document, which, hopefully I'll get soon. So,
Yeah, that night there's going to be like beer's going to be on Chris.
So, I mean, but it is official. I mean, as of right now, I mean, I record now. The nights we record, it's not that I don't have. It's night. We usually record on nights where my daughter's not in my house anyway. But after a fucking 4-year fight, I finally have custody of my daughter, and like, I mean, I've already kind of gone through all the emotions. I mean, I don't, it may not sound like I'm happy as I am, but I'm super fucking stoked and happy that, my daughter is back, technically under my custody, you know, and you know, and like I said, you know, I mean, I only brought up shit from the past because I'm just describing the story to any new listeners, but you know, the mom's in a good place, I'm in a good place, you know, let's move forward and raise my daughter. So I'm like super duper happy, big goofy dad. Let me see what else.
Oh, fucking time.
My car battery died, and Paul, my savior, Paul, my hero, my hero.
Yeah, so wait. Before you start talking about shit, this motherfucker. Oh, take me to get a new. I gotta go to my job and get something. So this motherfucker is having me drive through the ghettoest parts of fucking city. I'm like, Chris, do I need to go buy a fucking gun? I'm like, do I need to have like an AK-47 ready to shoot out the window or something? Because I'm like, where the fuck are we? Like, oh, go down this alley. I'm like, why?
Go down this alley.
No, I'm like, no, I'm not going down this fucking alley. Fuck you. Oh my god. And then I'm sitting here like going, Chris, you go to work every time like this? Yeah, this is the fastest way it takes me, dude.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Hopefully soon I'll be transferring out of my store to a place that's closer to where I live, and I'm literally leaving the ghetto, going to the suburbs. But what happens is the guy that's supposed to come in and replace me, I'm training the guy that's supposed to replace me, who's a new hire. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but this guy is a fucking wackadoo. And I don't think he's going to be working with the company for long. So I'm kind of frustrated because, like, dude, I'm supposed to train you so then you could take my job so I can get the fuck out of here. And he's obviously not up for the job. And so I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be sometime in the next 2-3 weeks. But if this guy fucking flakes out, they're going to have to hire somebody else. And I got to train a whole other motherfucker. So I'm so fucking frustrated with that right now. But
wackadoo.
He's a wackadoo.
I'll
Once I transfer out of that store, I'll share the story. But it is a remarkable story on how it was a comedy of fucking errors. I can't this guy, he needs a swift fucking kick to the fucking head. But I'll save that for a future episode. I'll tell the story, I promise. So after I transfer to the new store. Okay, so
you guys are crackhead guys. Okay, that's basically what it is.
So my car battery dies, and of course, I should have known better. I mean, the leads on it were so fucking corroded. It had big giant blue crystals growing out of the fucking top of the fucking battery. So at my job, we actually sold a battery booster thing. Like when your battery dies, didn't do a fucking thing for the car. So I needed Paul to drive me back to my job so I can buy return the booster that I got so I could actually buy a fucking battery. And it was only because I just wanted to see if the booster would work. The booster didn't work. Paul, my hero, came, took me to my job so I could do the return. Then I took the money, got the battery, put the battery in the car. And oddly enough, the battery didn't work right then and there. I thought the battery would work automatically. And I had to fucking take the bus to work, and I sucked balls. And then I took the bus after work, and then on my way, and I'm passing my car to get to my apartment. I'm like, let me just give it a shot. And what did you know? The fucking heavens opened up, fucking choir of angels came, and the fucking car's working. It's been working ever since.
That's hilarious.
I would say you don't fucking you take for granted. I know I bitch about a lot of things, but you fucking take for granted the things you have in your life, like a fucking car. Because when I was on the fucking bus, and I had for those who listen to the show, in Rochester, there's this little transit hub. It's basically where all the buses go. Nowadays you cannot take the bus without, getting to the transit hub. And it's like, you have to, unless you're staying on one line, where you're lucky enough where you're going in a straight fucking line, you have to go to the transit hub. And the transit hub is a fucking horrible accident just waiting to happen. It's the whole city, from all the fucking worst parts of the city are mixed. It's a giant cauldron of fucking flammable liquids and dangerous chemicals combined. And I'm surprised the fucking place hasn't been fucking burnt down yet. But there's been fights outside, there's been police activity, people have been shot there. I don't know if people have been killed. I don't know if anyone's died there yet, but people have been shot and stabbed there. So I this is why I need my car. I don't want to get shot and stabbed, at least not for shit that's not my fault. And to mind you, the building itself, in theory, the building is beautiful. It's nice, and it's got big glass windows, and got TVs all over the place. I mean, it's all just telling you the bus schedule, but I mean the building itself is beautiful, but you can't you can't bus in all people from the most worst parts of town into one area and expect it to stay nice. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. So,
I've heard many stories. I mean, I could sit here and spend a couple podcasts telling you all these stories, but I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately,
yeah, and there's all types of fucking problems. With the kids getting out of school and fighting, and it's just. I mean, once again, just listen to old podcasts, you'll hear the fucking horror stories of shit that's been going on there. So once again, my car's back on the road, and I'm so fucking happy. In world news, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Pope visiting New York City? We got a couple more minutes to get our break, so
I think that it was actually, a lot of people should really. Yesterday was a very historical day because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not religious or anything, but fuck, I mean, holy shit, the Pope. I'm not. Maybe I'm overplaying this, but holy shit, to have the Pope show up, and show up in America and do what he's done, to go in front of the Congress. No Pope, as far as I know, has ever done that or ever been allowed to do that. Might I add? So, yesterday was a big day. I mean, apparently it was a bigger day for John Boehner because he just resigned, but it was I have an epiphany. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. Peace out, bitches. I'm done in October. And you know what? I don't blame him. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm not a Republican, and I guess we'll go into kind of more political news, but man, everybody was shitting their pants.
Hey, the Pope's kicking ass and taking names. I mean, look, I'm an atheist. I've straight out said it, but I was raised Roman Catholic, and we're supposed to, I automatically kind of have that gene that's supposed to kick in me and say, oh, listen to what the Pope says. But I mean, the guy, literally, part of me says, listen to what the guy's saying. The guy's given, he's given halfway decent advice. He's telling people, look, why should I have to tell you to fucking be decent to each other, to fucking use common sense and stop being greedy, evil fucking cocksucker.
I mean, he that's what he was really saying yesterday. He was basically saying, look, do unto others as you would do yourself. And it's just even though that's something that people should know, coming from the Pope and standing in front of the fucking Congress is whoa.
Do we
this motherfucker just came in and said to the Congress, go, hey, stop your. Basically, he did it in a way that was backhanded, more or less being okay, look, bitches. I mean, if some ghetto person were to fucking translate it, he'd be yo, bitches, you need to fucking change the way that you're doing shit, because if you don't, our fucking world's gonna die, and it's gonna be because of you, because you fucking people lead the world. I mean, and I honestly think that, again, for a Pope to address the greatest legislative, body that is out there in the world is that's incredible. That's historic. And I thought the Pope going down there and blessing the World Trade Center was also very good. I liked that. I didn't even know he was doing that, and I thought that was great. I'm very happy that he did that. Hopefully, we won't get any more terrorists now, but unfortunately, we have people that are stupid. So,
do we really need the fucking holy man and a fucking magical hat to fucking come and tell us?
You know what I'm going to talk about? You know what we need to talk about? We're going to do this after the break. I want to talk about that kid, that 14-year-old Muslim. I want to talk about that shit because you know what? I need to talk about this. We haven't been doing this for 2 weeks. I don't care if this podcast goes an hour and a half. Fuck it. We're going to talk about this after the break.
Suck my clock.
Oh.
I can't take credit for that. I read that somewhere online. But yeah, it just blows my mind that did we really need a figurehead, a religious figurehead, a oogie boogie man to fucking go, hey, be halfway decent to each other, people, for the love of God. It's this should be, human decency should come through without having to, pull out religious figures to tell us to fucking be halfway decent to each other. And so I guess we'll save the part about the clock / the alleged bomb in the suitcase for the second half after the which is usually our nerdy news. But I also just wanted to talk about real quick the fucking Good Burger sketch, which I don't know. This isn't really nerdy news, but for those who follow us now on YouTube, who've been listening, and if you've watched my old Stranger vlogs, I did a top 10 reasons to hate Jimmy Fallon, and one of the deals I said was, one of the reasons to hate Jimmy Fallon is to see how he forces himself into sketches, You know, he's forced himself into a fucking, a Full House sketch. He's forced himself into a, Saved by the Bell sketch. And now he's forced himself into a Good Burger sketch. And it would, now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have done it because, obviously for the sake of nostalgia, okay, it's really funny. It was great to see the Good Burger sketch. It's good to see Keenan and Kel together. But he should have been the customer. You know what I'm saying? Usually in a sketch like that, it's the customer that gets fucked over. For him he was basically a white version of Ed, the Kel character. To have a white Ed and Ed there was unnecessary. It was him totally trying to steal the spotlight.
Wait, no, I got to kind of disagree with you here, man, because he wasn't was he in it? Yes. But was he in it for the majority of it? No. You could clearly see, he was just there to be like, okay, I'm setting this up for you guys. Here you go. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was just like, boom. Like, that happened. And it's been all over the internet. And I'm very... I can tell you right now, I know Nickelodeon's not stupid. Networks are not stupid. They're seeing this shit trend, and they're going to go, maybe we should do something with this.
Keenan's been with Saturday Night Live for a couple of years, but there's nothing to say that he can't continue doing sketch comedy. He doesn't have to with Saturday Night Live. He could go and fucking headline his own show again. Kind of be like a new sort of. I don't want to say In Living Color because In Living Color was purposefully political, but for them to have
rules.
What the fuck? And it was on.
For new listeners, Chris has this problem sometimes of turning off his cell phone when we're doing a podcast. I put mine on vibrate for a reason.
It wasn't vibrated.
I could clearly hear it through the thing.
It vibrated. It didn't beep.
Corner.
So
No. Seriously, go in the corner and do the podcast because you're in trouble.
Time out.
Yep, you're in timeout. Don't make me send Kelsey over there. She really vacuuming right now. Anyways.
All right, so with that, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc., 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. All right, Paul, so this is, I guess we could kind of get into a bigger part of this with the second half of the show. For new listeners, usually, the second half of the show is more of the nerdy news. And actually, last episode, we barely touched any fucking nerdy news. But
I know.
Hopefully, we'll go through this and then we'll get to the nerdy stuff. Because I got
we will. We got a long way to go here. But so
it's Mohammed
I don't know.
Or Ahmed.
Yes. So okay. Well, I don't even care what the kid's name is. Like, this kid's gonna get a payday because these fucking idiots are so stupid. Okay. So, for those of you that don't know, that are listening in different countries, this 14-year-old kid, he brings in a clock. And I'm doing clock in quotations. You can't see it because obviously this is an audio podcast. But quotations, a clock. Now, what he does is he brings it in, he makes this clock, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go in, I'm going to show my my teachers and everything, there's shit that I did and blah, 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 blah. Well, so he does this, and they're like, according to, oh God, what is his name? And I can't. If you watch there's a segment that was on the Bill Maher show, and I can't think of the guy. He's the guy that owns the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. I guess apparently he talked to the school or something. And he'd said to him that pretty much they let this kid go throughout the day without getting rid of, without saying anything. And then all of a sudden, he gets to this one classroom. The teacher tells him, I guess the teacher asked him to either put it away or whatever, and he continued not to listen to her. So that's when all of this escalated, apparently. Yeah. I don't know what the full story is, but pretty much, basically what happens to this kid is he gets arrested. They take him to the police station. Nothing happens. They release him. But in the midst of all this kid is pretty much accused of, he's accused of, let's see, he's pretty much, he gets suspended, first of all, which is completely idiotic to me. Especially when the kid is telling you, hey, by the way, this is not an explosive. This is a clock that I built. Okay. So pretty much this school violated his due process. So let me go through the whole thing of what happened here. So first of all, and I agree with Bill Maher on this, because I think that, the teacher, and I've been saying this even before he had put this on, the teacher here should not be at fault. And I believe it was a woman. I don't know if it was a guy or a woman, but whatever gender the teacher was. If you look up the pictures online, and I want you guys to do this just before, pause it right here, look up the picture for the clock that this kid built. It looks like a bomb, Chris. It looks like a fucking bomb.
Yeah, they were worried it was a bomb because it looks like a fucking bomb.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a fucking bomb. And this teacher, and if it's true that he got through most of the day without having any incidences, this teacher did the right thing. Because here's the thing. If it looks like a bomb, it sounds like a bomb, it could be a bomb. So why take the chance of being the first school that has an explosion and make sure that it is what it is? Now, right there, I have no problem with the teacher. And I think, honestly, and I'm pretty sure this is the way it is, and anybody that's a teacher out there, please let us know. Use our email. It's twostrangerspodcast@gmail.com. I'm pretty sure that most teachers in many of the school districts across the United States are now mandated to report something that looks suspicious, like a bomb or something like that. So this teacher probably was doing what she had to do.
Yeah, well, like anybody, not to cut you off, being in New York City after 9/11, what you see signs all over the place, and especially in the suburbs, if you see something, say something. If you see something, say something. So the fucking teacher saw something, and he or she said something. But go on, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right, no, you're fine. And, it's like, okay, so you did the right thing. And I'm good with that. You're fine. I don't have a problem with this guy or woman or whoever. It's for me where the problem happened, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this, Chris. So the kid until the kid went down to the principal's office, everything was going correctly, in my opinion. The kid walks in the office, violation of his due process. If the reports are true of what actually happened, and again, we don't know, we weren't there. Just like who was it from MSNBC that was on Bill Maher's panel there? Chris Matthews, I think it was. I couldn't.
Yeah, no, it was Chris Matthews.
Yeah, and he's like, and he actually swore, which was awesome, by the way, because you never hear him swear. He's like, what are we to judge what this situation was? We weren't even fucking there. And I agree with him. Nobody was there, so we don't really know what the actual details were. But if it is true that this kid walked into the principal's office and it was the principal and 5 other officers, that's a violation of his due process right there.
Yeah.
They cannot ask him questions. When he walks into an office and there's law enforcement officers there and they start asking him questions, he doesn't have to answer those. And that's a violation of his due process, because if they didn't read him his Miranda rights, I got to tell you something, Chris. This kid needs a payday.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm obviously he's not going back to the school. His family came out and said that they've unenrolled I guess there's a different term for it, but he took himself out of that school. He's going to be going to a different school.
And he could pick and choose the fucking school that he wants to.
Oh, yeah. Now, I mean, the president led him to the White House, blah, this, that, the other. NASA invited him. Twitter invited him. I don't know. It was a bunch of places that invited him because of all this. But my problem here is that while some things were done right, the school district overreacted way too much. And they violated his due process. If there were 5 officers in that thing, and they asked him questions without his parents present, because this kid is under 18 years old, that violated his due process, and he should not only have an apology from the school district, but from the police department, and he should sue and get money from these people. And they're going to pay. They're not stupid. They're going to pay because they want it to go away. I want it to go away because I think that this kid got rewarded a lot more than he should have. I'm not going to sit here and say that, everything went wrong, but I think this kid, I mean, from the sounds of it sounds like he's a nice kid and everything. And, he probably didn't expect this to happen. Somebody had asked me the other night, oh, do you think he set this up? I'm like, I don't think a 14-year-old kid is going to go into school and be like, gee, I'm going to bring something in that looks like a bomb and sounds like it so I can get celebrity.
Especially Muslims in Texas, like in one of the most conservative states in the fucking union. And it's got to be hard enough being a fucking Muslim in that school. I don't think they were going to do anything to fucking purposefully, bring negative attention to. Go on, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And I agree with you. I think that, this kid, again, this kid, I don't think was asking for it. I think he was, he did the right thing. He said, this is a clock I made. I brought it in. I wanted to show the teachers what I did. Mm-hmm. I get it. I understand completely what you were doing, dude. And I'm not going to sit here and say to you, you didn't do the right thing. But at the same time, we don't know the whole situation. And I kind of feel like there's a missing puzzle here. I still think that the school did violate his Miranda rights. Not his Miranda rights, but his due process. And they might have violated his Miranda, too, depending on when they read them to him. But there again, we don't know that information. We really don't. And, for me, it's kind of like, okay.
What I'm saying is somebody was handling this. I mean, here's my opinion. Someone was handling the fucking suitcase or whatever, and that's right. What I mean. They call it a pencil box. It looks like a suitcase or whatever. Someone should have taken the pencil box I don't know, put it out in the middle of the fucking football field or what, saying like most schools have like a playground or whatever. Put it out in the middle of nowhere. Call the cops. And of course, but once the cops show up, like, okay, also call his fucking parents. Saying find out what the fuck find out what the fuck is going on. For
those parents, Chris, should have been there the minute that he walked into that principal's office. Mm-hmm. And then this should have all been cleared up. Okay, fine. Maybe we have a detention just to be like, look, dude, you can't do this again. Okay. We understand that, you made this clock. We appreciate your innovation, but you got to kind of like tell us, look, this is what I'm bringing in. It's going to look like it may look like a bomb. I want to make sure this is okay. That's what he probably should have done. But again, this kid's a 14-year-old.
Yeah. Well, there was a kid that got kicked out of school because he bit his toast and made it look like a gun, and he held it like a gun, and that kid got fucking
schools are overreacting all over this fucking nation. You got a kid. I don't know what happened to the kid, but there was a story a few weeks back, Chris, and we may have talked about this, where he kissed a girl and all of a sudden he got arrested because it was assault. I'm like, first of all, these two kids are underage. Second of all, how is that assault? Mm-hmm. Kids, boys and girls have been kissing each other on dares for years, especially that young. How is that assault? Mm-hmm. Fuck you, fuck your system, and if that kid gets convicted, I'm gonna come down there and personally punch that fucking judge in the face.
Yeah, well, it's
people
way fucking overreacting over. It was harmless. Was it stupid? Yeah, but it wasn't assault. It was stupid kids making stupid decisions.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to one of my bosses the other day about this. Like, I'm scared for my kid. I'm really scared for my kid in these school districts because you don't know. Like, my kid could sit there and be like joking around, like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill a bunch of people," and then all of a sudden, my kid's in jail for no damn reason. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to. Honestly, there needs to be a federal national mandate that says, "Look, this is how you proceed in these situations. Mm-hmm. If it's this, kid gets detention. We wash our hands clear of it. if it actually is what it is, then we take the next step and we, suspend this person. We, arrest this person, have them charged, which at that age, a kid's not going to get that much for having a gun with him. Mm-hmm. And I guess it also goes back to how, and I know this is, now I'm going to get a little bit more political because I'm going to relate this back to guns, but it's kind of the same thing with guns. We sit here and we're like, well, we need to punish our kids for bringing these guns in school. Why are we punishing the kids? Why are we not punishing these parents? Why are we not going after these fucking parents for, violating a law? These kids, you are supposed to have a safe, lock and key that these kids cannot get into. If you can't, you're not supposed to have a gun.
Yeah.
So being being a responsible gun owner, you need to be able to be responsible and keep that out of your, if you have a kid and you have a gun, keeping that out of the hands of those people. And you know what? Honestly, like, if you make that mistake, you should be in jail. Okay? If a kid, like Columbine happens, because this is where it all started, Chris. It all started with this whole Columbine thing. See how I'm bringing this back around? It all started with this whole Columbine thing. Fucking now schools are at high alert for every single fucking thing. It's bad enough, like the high school I went to out in Rush Henrietta, fucking you can't go, like, they used to be able to go in the breezeways, used to be able to go through the gym to get into school and whatnot, blah 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 blah. Now it's like a fucking prison. You can't go through certain doors because, we got to make sure everybody's fine. Dude, not every person's bringing drugs to school. Not every person's bringing a gun to school. I know it happens. It sucks, but it is what it is. And I just, I think we've just gone over a line that needs to stop here. What we need to do, Chris, is we need to start punishing these parents that are not taking responsibility for these kids. We need to start doing that. We need to set an example. Because that's where this is going to all start, And it's not just because some guy goes into school. Look at the fucking streets of Rochester. There's been one person killed every single day this summer, Chris. Every single fucking day. That's sad.
Gun violence.
That is fucking sad. And we need to do something about it. I understand there are responsible gun owners out there, and I get it, and I wonder, and it's if you're responsible and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, great. I have no problem with you. But you also need to come to the table and give a little bit of your rights back. Because here's the problem. Yes, we have a Second Amendment that has a fucking gun that, allows you to have a gun. But if I tell you that you need to take a mental exam every single year, that shouldn't be a problem. If you're going to own a gun, you should take a mental exam every single year. You should subject yourself, when you first buy that gun, to not only a mental exam, but a background check. And that should be across the United States of America. Yeah. Okay? I'm sorry I'm being preachy and I'm going off on another subject, but it's just, this world is starting to frustrate me. And it's like, it's like, we need to start taking care of this now, because our kids, Chris, they're going to live, the world's getting shittier and shittier as we go. It's going to get worse. Yeah. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. And like just the other day, I mean, I don't want to do all of this way too much, but like we had a shooting the other day. Well, there's a trial going on about a shooting, about a kid who's, allegedly he killed his father because his father was abusive to his mother. And the signs are going back where this guy's friend bought him a gun. And I'm like, because mind you, he tried to get a gun, and I guess the system worked the first time and didn't let this guy get a fucking gun, and then his this guy had enough fucking charm to convince his fucking friend to fucking buy him a gun. Don't buy anybody a gun. There's no reason why you should give.
And there should be stiffer laws for that too. That's the fucking problem. Like, if you give somebody a gun, whether it's legal or illegal, and that person's not supposed to have that gun, in all cases, they shouldn't probably have that gun. You should be thrown into jail for the exact crime they committed. Because then you'll learn not to fucking do it. And you're going to live your life sitting there going, because of this decision, I fucked up. Mm-hmm. Dude, like, our world needs to change, man. And we need to stop overreacting about these little things, especially when a kid comes into school and says, hey, I got a clock, not a bomb. And we also need to stop, allowing these things to go on, because enough is enough. How many more mass shootings do we have to have before somebody fucking does something? Mm-hmm. And honestly, like I'm looking forward to this presidential election that's coming up because I don't want Donald Trump, but I would like to. I guess I'm not looking forward to this as much because I don't think Hillary Clinton. I hope Hillary Clinton does it, but I don't think it'll happen. But we really just need a president that goes in there and says, "Hey, look, Congress, fuck all of you. You're gonna do we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get it done. And if we don't get it done, I'm gonna make sure that each and every one of you fucking gets voted out." That's what fucking Lyndon Johnson did. Lyndon Johnson, and let me bring my intelligence into this conversation, and then we'll stop dwelling on this because I know Chris is sitting over here going, "I'm gonna shoot myself, Paul. I want to get to some nerdy news. I'm gonna shoot myself." Speaking about shooting people. But Lyndon Johnson used to, and that was one of our presidents in the United States. He used to bring people into the White House, and Bill Clinton did this actually too. Which this is why I love Bill Clinton. They used to bring people into the White House, senators, Republicans, even Democrats on the same side. And they'd sit down with them and they'd have a cordial conversation. Look, such and such bill, I want to put this through. It needs to go through. What do we need to do to make this happen? And the Democrats were normally on their side, or whatever. I think Lyndon Johnson was a Republican, if I remember correctly. But either way, like whatever party if they were in the same party, there was I just need this bill and we can do this. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll include this in there. And but then the opposing party's like, no, fuck you, I'm not doing this. So their aides would go in, they would do a study. They would go in and they do a study of that area. Okay, let's say Bill Clinton got a 69% approval rating, meaning people approve of it the way he's doing, they would vote for him again, blah, 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 blah. That senator or House person, representative, did only 52%. They would use those numbers to their advantage and go, look, either you do this, or we're going to go into your district, we're going to help whoever the Democratic nominee is, we're going to push hard, and we're going to get you voted out of office. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying, Chris? Yes. We need more of that again, because we got things done that way. And I think gun violence, we need to have a president that has the balls to fucking step up to the plate and fucking hit a home run. And is willing to lose the presidential election that next after the 4 years that they serve in order to do it. I would. If I were voted president, I would. I would put everything on the line. And I would sit there and say that to American people. Look, I don't care. If you want to vote me out after we do this, fine, vote me out. But I'm going to do this because I don't want my child going through this. And that's how that's how every senator, representative, president, and everybody else should approach any situation that's going on. And we also need to go in and look at some of these other things too, because, we're just overreacting to a lot lot of shit. So let's move on to the nerdy news.
That was our political segment. We had the world news, now the nerdy news.
We haven't been doing this for weeks, folks. Okay, I had to get this out. Okay, yeah. It's like when I'm horny, I got to get it out. Okay.
Clean the political pipes.
Clean the political pipes.
So let's get to this. Okay, so first thing on my list, and I have to talk about it because I just finished watching it last night. Heroes Reborn. The Heroes TV series comes back after four seasons. The first season was quite possibly, in my opinion, one of the greatest TV seasons in the history of fucking television. Season one, I said, even if you don't want to invest any of your more time than usual, check out Heroes Season 1. Buy the DVD box set. I don't know if it's on Hulu or Netflix or anything like that. Check out Heroes Season 1. It is fucking fantastic. Well, okay, so they had, seasons 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 were okay. I mean, I'm a diehard fan, so I love them all, but I could see how fans started wavering and fell off. But, it's funny how, Heroes came out back in 5-6 years ago, and or more than that. And, nowadays, we have Arrow and Flash and Gotham and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Heroes was a bit of ahead of its time with having a weekly serial show where, about people with, superpowers and stuff like that. And now I guess, they said, shit, we kind of helped all these other shows fucking get famous that, let's fucking come back and do it ourselves, let the granddaddy come back. So, I saw they had the first 2 episodes, last night, or at least when we record this. Was it as good as I wanted it to be?
Oh my God, they're going to blow up your house. Oh.
Was it as good as I wanted it to be? I'll be honest with you, as much as I'm a fanboy, I wasn't jumping out of my seat. I do have to say, okay, when they broke it down into 2 separate episodes, the endings of each episode fucking were fantastic, and especially Heroes season 1, it was known for, you'd have a good episode. When they get to like the last 5 minutes or last 2 minutes or 1 minute of the episode, they would introduce or have some sort of twist that would make you go, what the fuck is going on? And I did like the fact that both the episodes kind of had fucking awesome twists. It may be
What the twist?
but the twist, I don't. If you're a person like you haven't watched the shows, it may be a little hard to kind of follow what the hell's going on, because two of the things in the show that they're following, and I don't want to get too much into it because if you haven't watched the show yet, I don't want to spoil anything. But basically, it's the things that they're chasing. It's the things that they're after. I think it's going to be a little hard for people that are new to the show because they may not understand the importance of it. And
Right.
if you haven't watched the show, I would say try to give the old episodes a chance, or at least season 1 chance, and it might enlighten you on what the hell's going on. Like I said, it's a great show, and it's definitely good for a person like me who's been following it. And also they had a 5-part miniseries online called oh shit, I forgot the name of it. But if you go on like on NBC.com, you could watch the 5-part miniseries. So they have like, they have this character that's like introduced into the show, and if you haven't seen the 5-part miniseries, you're like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? But if you watch the series, then you understand he's a part of a bigger, and he's going to be he's going to be very important in the season because it was an actor. He was in, he's been in a bunch of things, but I know recently he was in Wolf of Wall Street. It's kind of like this heavyset, chubby dude, kind of has like reddish hair. He has a beard. He's a supporting character. But he's a good actor, and like I said, he's all in the series. He's all in the miniseries, and then they introduce him into Heroes Reborn. And if you haven't watched the miniseries, you may be confused, like, who the fuck is this guy and why is he important? So go back and watch the 5-part miniseries. I mean, I know it's a lot of homework to do, but it's a good show. And like once again, just watch season 1. It's quite possibly one of the best seasons on TV. Friend of the show, an animator, Jody Schaefer, and we'll get to his other counterpart in a minute. Jody Schaefer has he's working on a new show called Moonbeam City. Have you seen the pilot of it, Paul?
No.
It's called Moonbeam City. And the best way I could describe it, it's if Archer, the show Archer on FX, if Archer met Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It takes place in the 80s, and it's very, very much 80s style, neon, people with, clothes that have like big shoulder pads, Lamborghinis. It's hard to explain without saying like it's like ultra 80s, like everything. When you look at a poster from the 80s, imagine if that was like a real show. And of course, it's on Comedy Central, and being like Archer. And I guess that's the first show people are going to compare it to. But and it's not being unfair because Archer's a good show. It's very adult. It's a lot of there's sex, there's fucking violence. And actually, if you watch the show, once again, and Jody Schaefer has worked on Metalocalypse, so there's also a tinge of Metalocalypse in there. And Metalocalypse was fucking, very, very violent. A lot of fucking really twisted fucking imagery on that show. So it's sort of like if Archer met Metalocalypse and also had a baby with fucking Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Like I said, Vice City being, the 80s excess, me generation sort of deal. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I'm pretty sure on ComedyCentral.com you could watch the pilot. But if you actually have cable, then you could watch the rest of the episodes. But a friend of the show, Jody Schaefer, worked on it, and I had reached out to him because I wanted to know about the animation process. And basically, it's Flash animation. I mean, like how they did Metalocalypse, like how they're doing. Pretty much all the fucking cartoons on Titmouse are some way, shape, or form Flash animation. So check it out. It's a funny fucking. And it's not for the weak of heart. I mean, if you don't like blood or sex or violence, you may want to give it a pass. But if you swallow your fucking pride and realize that it's just a goofy show, give it a shot. It's pretty funny. And his counterpart, and I say friend of the show, Jody Schaefer, because once again he helped create one of the greatest shows in history of television, Megas XLR. Well, the other co-creator of that show, George Kirstick, once again, friend of the show, is doing a... Oh, shit. I had the tab open on my browser. Give me 1 second as I find it. Okay. George Christic, writer for Megas XLR. He's written for League of Legends, the video game. Motor City he's written for. They are doing a animated series, but it's going to be a web series, a digital series, for Transformers, the Combiner Wars. And unfortunately, I haven't been following Transformers in the comics, but in the comics, they're following these Combiner Wars. And Combiner Wars meaning the combiners, the Transformers that are the bigger robots, like a Devastator, where the Constructicons come together and form Devastator, the Aerial Bots, the Combaticons, the Stunticons, the basically the robots that are made up of smaller robots, the like a Voltron or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Those big robots that are made up of smaller robots are sort of taking center stage right now in the Transformers comic book. So using that, it's Transformers Combiner Wars. They're doing a digital series. It's going to be covered by Machinima, and if you go on YouTube, Machinima, produces fucking high quality work. And part of the writers of the show is George Christic, like I said, from Megas XLR. Eric S. Calderon, Eric S. Calderon has been known for, he's done work on Afro Samurai. He's worked on Beavis and Butthead Do America. And the other contributor is F.J. DeSanto, who I know he's done a whole bunch of comic books, but he's also, his most famous one is called Cyborg 009. Unfortunately, I haven't read any of
Cyborg 009.
Yeah.
What, you've never seen that series?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't, and I'm
fucking corner right now. It was on Toonami. Go in the fucking corner right now.
I don't have cable.
I don't give a shit. It was on Toonami back in the day. Go in the fucking corner.
Yeah. So needless to say, this show between Afro Samurai, Megas XLR, and Cyborg 009, you have pedigree fucking writers working on this. Machinima, the YouTube channel Machinima puts out fucking fantastic content. So this is...
Yeah, Machinima, where's my fucking money?
This is going to be... It's going to be fucking awesome. And on top of that, they're going to do like a whole panel on this in New York Comic Con at the beginning of October. My fucking press pass hasn't come yet. I'm starting to stress the fuck out, but
you should.
And of course, and I've reached out to George. Of course, I missed him. Unfortunately, he came down to Madison Square Garden for the League of Legends Championship, and he was kind of busy. And so if he's going to Comic Con, I'm gonna fucking stalk him if I have to.
Well,
I don't think I have to. I don't think I have to. He actually
have
apologized to me. He's like, "I'm sorry. I know we had, I said I'd do my best to meet up with you," and so, and they're doing it Thursday. Of course, Thursday night at Comic Con isn't the biggest night, but they're hosting a panel at New York Comic Con, so that alone is fucking top-notch shit. So I'm gonna fucking, if I have to sit in the fucking line, in front of the panel all fucking day, whatever, and then we'll definitely we're gonna strive our best to get an interview with George.
Well, what I'll do is as I work my magic, I will have George make sure that they meet up with us and talk to us on camera, because we can make that into a geeky thing and put that up, because they are Titmouse, they're not Toonami, but but I will throw a fucking Toonami question.
Oh yeah, Toonami. Geeky,
I'm gonna be like,
it's all gonna be represented,
right? And I'm gonna probably be like, so Toonami exists. I know that you liked that Megas XLR was on there. When are you going to do a series for Toonami? And when, and when can we expect to get an exclusive? Because, hey, look, I'm not going to sit here and hold anything back. Fucking, they made Megas XLR. Okay? Look, you're telling me that Toonami's back on the air. You've done a shitload of shows for Adult Swim. You're not going to try to make something and put it on Toonami? Come on. I saw this a long time ago when Toonami came back. I was like, why doesn't Toonami have an original series that they can just take from? You have fucking Titmouse. I actually said this. I was like, you have Titmouse that gives you a shitload of cartoons in that and shows. Why are we even having a conversation? Have them make a show. Boom. Now American Animation's back. There you go. This isn't hard. This isn't hard, people. I mean, come on. And you know that Titmouse would fucking bring out something awesome. So I can't see why.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So
And who knows? Megas XLR, obviously it's kind of one of those things right now where it's kind of up. It's still, there's really virtually no chance of it coming back, but it's still kind of there as, okay, it's still a possibility, but don't expect it.
yeah, I mean, I'm look, in a perfect world, would it come back? Yeah, I've reserved. My heart is broken knowing that it probably never will. But these shows, like fucking, he's working on a fucking Transformers cartoon. Like shit. That. And obviously,
Well, I
Megas
mean,
XLR was influenced by Transformers. Now he's working on Transformers.
Right, and I'm kind of would like to go back. I kind of would be interested, and I know that I would never get the inside scoop on this, but I might ask Jason one of these years. IGPX was a series, was Toonami's only original series that they did, and I wasn't really into that series. Don't get me wrong. There are some people that are.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that aren't. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. But I would like to know how they were able to get that show back after it was apparently written off, and now it's in the library of Adult Swim. I would kind of like to see that and know what's going on, but I don't know. I think there was something that Jason must have thrown in there that gave them the right to bring it back. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm hoping somewhere down the line we can, somehow get Megas XLR, at least in the capacity of you can make another series kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be called Megas XLR, but you can base it off of Megas XLR.
Well, I mean, it's just also, they're out there, they're working on other projects, and they're building their clout. So when the time comes, when they say jump, the fucking how high?
Oh, God! You just hit the tip of my penis. Speaking of shows that possibly might be coming back, I actually put this up on Toonami News on Twitter. It's actually on our Facebook page. For those of you that are new listeners, I run a website called ToonamiFaithful.com. Welcome. Go visit that site. It's awesome because I did it. We also have a podcast, Toonami Faithful Podcast, whatever. Free plugs everywhere. I put up an article. I retweeted it. I actually posted this article everywhere. And Genny, and I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong, Tartakovsky? I want to say that's right. The guy that did Samurai Jack. Also
Gennady Tartakovsky.
Yes, I think I said that right. That did that. They did also Symbionic Titan. He actually may be trying to. He sounds like he's close to getting ready to start up Samurai Jack again. And we don't know. There wasn't really many details about it, but it's an interesting fact to know that Samurai Jack may be back very soon in the next couple of years. So. Pay attention out there because that may happen. He also said something that, Symbionic Titan might be a possibility too, but he's gonna have to. He would have to crowdfund for something like that or something. So, hopefully he has the same thing that the guy that did SWAT Cats, and his name. I just did an interview with him, and his name doesn't come off the top of my head.
It's a very French name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's a very French name, but pretty much, like, if he has the rights to do another series or to bring it back, even though if it's written off, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if you see that back. So here's hoping. Here's fucking hoping. And that would be my advice to Jody and to George Kirstick. Guys, if any series you do from now on, put that in your contract. Make it so that way, even if they write it off, you can still do another series.
Yeah, it's Genndy, Genndy, Tartakovsky, Tartakovsky, the guy behind Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory.
I had some nerdy news. Okay. I don't know. I had to bring that
apparently
in.
Apparently, I didn't realize this. He also helped do Hotel Transylvania.
Yes, that's where the article came from because They were interviewing him about that originally, but then they brought up these other questions about this stuff. And fun fact, and I think you'll like this, Chris. He was the one. If any of you have watched Tsunami back in the day, they had a Star Wars miniseries. It was each episode was about 3 to 5 minutes. Jenny, he was the one that did all of those episodes. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, not a lot of Star Wars fans know that, but he did do that miniseries, and it's still out there on DVD if you can get it. Mm-hmm. Get it used. I'm trying to actually get the first set because I have plans. Mm-hmm. I have plans. Anyways, so moving on with
the Hotel Transylvania was also written, or mostly written, by Robert Smigel, aka the guy who does Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, and Jack and Triumph, the show I was featured on in the pilot. Thank you very much. That they discovered me last year at Comic-Con.
Wait. So who made that possible for you?
Well, yes, you made it possible, Paul.
I don't know. I just had to fucking be an asshole.
I was wearing a Toonami Faithful shirt. They just asked me to take it off.
And I was pissed about that.
Funny to see a fat, naked guy. Or not fat, naked, but fat, shirtless guy.
Well, they didn't even show that scene, which I would love to have seen that. Hopefully when they bring out the first season, we get to see that.
Yeah, it has to be part of the DVD extras. And then it's funny because then George Christick used to write for Star Wars The Clone Wars, the second one, the computer animated one, but Genndy Tartakovsky also worked on Star Trek The Clone Wars, both of them, both the traditional
Wars The Clone Wars,
the traditionally animated one and the computer generated one.
I can't believe you said Star Trek.
Did I say Star Trek? I'm sorry.
You did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, all of a sudden you hear this. All of a sudden, Chris hears a knock at his door. He opens the door, the 501.
The nerd police. Yeah, the 501.
Yeah, the 501 division stormtroopers. They are at the door. So you like Star Trek? Oh, speaking of that, did you see that fucking picture that's out there? That's hilarious. Where the one stormtrooper's working on a model of a Star Trek ship. He looks up, and then all of a sudden he's getting stomped by the other stormtroopers. Yes. I was like, that was hilarious.
And okay, so. Actually, there's two directions we could go with this. One, it's funny, we were just talking about a Transformers cartoon. It turns out that in the movie universe of Transformers, Michael Bay and all of those people, they had a big giant meeting about what the future of the Transformers franchise is going to be. And the two major things that were announced was, yes, they are moving forward with Transformers 5 live action movie directed by Michael Bay. Apparently, bash these movies as much as we like. They're doing fucking fantastic in China, and the money, the numbers don't lie, and people in China go out to see these movies and get these movies made. But I think the bigger news, the one that excites me, and like I said, 2 seconds ago we were talking about a Transformers cartoon. In the Michael Bay cinematic universe, they're planning on doing a animated Transformers movie that's in the same universe as the rest of these movies, except it is going to be a prequel of the war that happened on Cybertron, the Civil War, the beginning. So, instead of having to sit there and worry about fucking Shia LaBeouf and fucking Mark Wahlberg and all these other characters you don't give a shit about, we could actually take it to the fucking, the planet of Cybertron, Decepticons and Autobots. And remember, this is, if you remember, they look like robots. It's only when they come to Earth that they try to disguise themselves and look like cars and shit. This is just going to be them looking like just funky psychedelic fucking robots and shit. Am I like a little apprehensive about it? Yeah, I'm a little apprehensive about it, but one, it's more Transformers, so that makes me happy, and two, I mean, it's what we need to see. I hate, when you watch the Transformers, the animated movie. I mean, when you watch the one that Michael Bay did, like part one, nobody gives a fuck about Shia LaBeouf. No one gives a fuck about his family. The movie should have just been all about the Transformers. But of course, you always need that one kind of human character that everyone could relate to, just so newcomers don't know. But if you watch the 1986 animated movie, there's like two humans in it. There's Spike and his son Daniel, and that's about it. There's no other human beings in the whole fucking movie, and it's not like the movie's focusing on them. They just happen to be there as the fucking giant robots are fighting. So I'm kind of excited about the Transformers. Basically there's no human element to fuck it up. And then
Yeah.
and now back to Star Wars. And pardon my fuck up earlier about Star Trek. It was rumored, not necessarily announced, but rumored that Hayden Christensen, the guy who played Anakin Skywalker in the prequel trilogy, is going to be in Star Wars Episode 7. Now, the funny thing is that nobody seems to, they're talking about clones and that, the Rilo Ken character or Kylo Ren, whatever the fuck his name is, he wants to clone Darth Vader and all this shit. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, he may try to clone Darth Vader, but it's not going to happen. What no one seems to fucking mention is that you can have Hayden Christensen in this movie as a ghost. When you watch the special edition, at the end of Return of the Jedi, when Luke looks over, he sees the ghost of Yoda. He sees the ghost of he sees the ghost of Yoda, and he sees the ghosts of his father, Anakin Skywalker. Well, in the original, before the special editions, I believe it was David Prowse, the actor that played. The actor was actually inside the suit for Darth Vader.
Right.
But in the special edition, they removed David Prowse and they actually put Hayden Christensen. So a lot of people, and remember, I mean, technically, at the end of Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader is good now. He's not Darth Vader anymore. He's redeemed himself as Anakin Skywalker. So there is a very good chance that you can have Hayden Christensen, as a ghost, as a Force ghost. I mean, in that logic, technically, you could also have Qui-Gon Jinn. You could also have Yoda. You could bring all of them back. But the rumors are saying Hayden Christensen might be in Episode 7. Okay, not as a clone. Darth Vader's not coming back. Not in that shape. Not in the traditional way that we remember him. But in my opinion, if we do see Hayden Christensen, it's going to be as Darth Vader's ghost. Whatever, the Force projection, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
Where, he might be in the movie. And Paul and I were kind of talking about this before the episode. I don't, of course, it's very easy to bash Hayden Christensen, but he was given really, really bad dialogue in those movies. How well can you act when you're giving shitty dialogue? So, under the umbrella of J.J. Abrams, he may do it right. He may redeem the same way Darth Vader was redeemed at the end of Return of the Jedi. I think he may redeem Hayden Christensen, which would be the true story of redemption from that movie. So, okay, two last things, and then we'll get ready to leave. Viola Davis from the show How to Get Away with Murder won an Emmy for Best Female Actress in a Drama. And, for those who haven't been paying attention, Viola Davis will be playing Amanda Waller in the upcoming Suicide Squad movie. So here we have Emmy Award-winning actress Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller, the only character in the fucking DC universe that could fucking make Batman shit his pants. I'm super excited. This just adds a little bit more credibility. I mean, of course, comic book movies are a big deal, and the people who are going to go see Suicide Squad are already going to see it now. You don't have to give them any more ammunition to go. But the fact that we have an Emmy Award-winning actress on the set just makes things even fucking better. And congratulations to Viola Davis. I believe she was the first African-American actress to ever win Best Actress in a Drama. And not really our demographic, but shit, I'll give props where props are due.
Yes.
And the pizza rat, when that video hit, I think in my opinion, I was the first one to comment saying it's Master Splinter getting a slice of pizza for his 4 mouths to feed. I was kind of upset that like all these other ones started getting retweeted like a day or two later with that same comment. I'm like, shit, the first thing I thought when I saw that rat carrying a pizza down a flight of stairs in the subway, which is quite possibly the most New York City thing you'll ever see in your life. I was like, oh, it's Master Splinter bringing a slice of pizza to go to the Ninja Turtles, So, I just thought that was kind of fun. I was kind of pissed that like other people were kind of quoting it later on. I guess great minds think alike, but I mean, I was probably the first one to post. Damn it. I want my credit. Shit. And, just real quick. The first episode of Gotham, the new season of Gotham. Okay. It's good. I think Gotham is trying to go for the 1966 Batman kind of campy. I mean, we already had a serious Batman in the movie. We're getting another serious Batman in the upcoming movies. I think they're trying to separate themselves by making it a little sillier, by having kind of like goofy characters and stuff like that. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. But the first the first episode of the season, it's good. It's not as great as I wanted it to be. I mean, Gotham has been kind of shaky since day one. But, once again, I mean, just give it a shot. You may like it. This season they promised to focus more on the villains. Because people like last season were like, well, what the fuck? I don't care about these characters, other characters that don't exist in the comics. I want to hear about fucking Penguin and Riddler and Harvey Bullock and I don't care about Fish Mooney. I don't care about the Balloon Man. I don't give a fuck about, some guy who wears a pig on his face. And they have a character with like a pig on his face and it's not Professor Pig. It makes no fucking sense. So, give it a shot. Gotham, I have high hopes. Hopefully it'll get a little better this season. Okay, it's Paul. So let's wrap it up. That's what she said. You can visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show related. You can find links to our iTunes. You can't go back and listen to every single episode on iTunes, but you could go back just about 3 years or so and listen to episodes that we had back then with the old co-host, Kristen. If you don't have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod, you can download us on the Stitcher app for Android devices. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app, which what I like most about Stitcher is it has an option called Listen Later. So while you're at home in your Wi-Fi spot, or if you're at McDonald's or at Starbucks or in the public local library, you can, in the Wi-Fi spot, download all the episodes that you like and listen to them later on. So you're not killing your battery and you're not killing your data on your phone. It's a fucking fantastic option. And if you don't have an iPhone and you're not one of those people downloading the new update tonight, you can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast, all spelled out. We've been getting a few new likes, we're getting a few new shares, and I really appreciate all the activity, all the new listeners and all the new followers. Welcome. It's fucking fun. Listen to all the fun we had in the past, and we're only going to give you even more upcoming, and especially with New York Comic Con right around the corner, we're going to have tons of content for you. Let me see. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're on at Stranger Podcast. I'm not as active as I like to be, but I promise I will one day.
Will you one day?
Well, I've been really focusing on putting the episodes out on YouTube, and that's also the other way you can follow us. You can go on YouTube. I've been doing my Stranger vlogs. I've been trying to do at least 1 or 2 a week. I have one right now that I just finished recording earlier today. I have an idea for another one I'm going to do tomorrow. So I've been trying to put like at least 2 out a week to kind of drum up more listeners to the show. And of course, and then you could go back and listen to old episodes. Or like up as of right now, as of this recording, we're up to like episode 41 on YouTube. But like I said, Paul, our next episode 200. So we're about a fifth of the way uploaded of episodes. And once again, only more to come. Tons and tons of more to come. Let me see. And once again, like our fan Oscar, hopefully he's okay. You can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's all spelled out. twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Get in contact with us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's anything you want to talk about. If you want to contact me about the Stranger vlog, you got any topics you want to talk about. And on all sorts of social media, share everything. Share the videos, share the podcast, share the link to the podcast, share the Facebook page, share everything on all your forms of social media. That's everything I can think of. Paul, I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
Well, you can find me on Twitter as usual at Paul Pascrillo. You can ask me questions. I have an ask.fm. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. Please ask me any questions you want, including questions based on Toonami. I am very fluent in that language. I also have an Instagram. It's instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo, which I'm trying to use a little bit more often. I will, I promise. And also you can find me, as I alluded to earlier, on another podcast called the Toonami Faithful Podcast. It's soundcloud.com/Toonami Faithful Podcast. You can play it there, download, whatnot. So check it out when you get a chance, because it's a really good podcast and we talk Toonami all the time. So if you like Toonami, that's where you need to go. One thing I want to plug real quick before we get out of here, we have me and Kadesh Flow have an album out called We Are the Faithful. It's thematically based on One Piece, the anime out there that is on Toonami, but it is also a popular anime overseas in Japan and across the world too. So if you guys are interested in listening to that, I encourage you to go to geekyinkproductions.com, geekyinkproductions.bandcamp.com, click on the album picture for We Are the Faithful, and go and pre-order this CD. It's only $5 right now, and you're going to get 2 free tracks just for pre-ordering it there now. 2 free tracks. It's going to be available on iTunes soon for pre-order, but this is the only place that you can get it. Get 2 free tracks for free that won't be available anywhere else. They can't be available anywhere else, actually, to be honest with you. So you want them, you got to get them. You got to pre-order from there. A couple of the songs like King Blue and Devastation, which are also on the album, including the 2 bonus tracks, are also on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/geekyinkproductions. Go there, listen to the songs. I guarantee you, after you hear all those songs, you're going to want to get this album. So support Kadesh Flow. Let's get him into the driver's seat. Let's get him out there. He is one of the kings of nerdcore, in my opinion, so we need to get this man, everything that he deserves. So let's get this popping, let's get this rolling, and go out and pre-order the CD now, because I'm going to guarantee you right now, it's something that you definitely want to buy. And $5, it's $5, guys. Come on. And that's it for me.
All right, well, we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
All over my face.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double
it?
Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne smells good to me.
But
Look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between 2 of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know, you're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I
and
will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.